Hello everyone, we are looking at question 72. Now this question follows from question 71, wherein we looked at numbers which were given in a series and our job was to find out what would be the next number in this series. So the question is very similar and we see that in each of the following questions a series is given with one of them missing. Choose the appropriate option that will continue the same pattern and accordingly replace the question mark in the given series. Now in this series we are given the numbers 5, 12, 23, 50, 141 and we are asked to find out what will replace the question mark. So our options are 488, 394, 478 and 489 and the correct answer for this question comes out to be option A, which is 488. Let's quickly take a look at how we arrive at this answer. So if I look at the numbers that have been given to me, let me remind you that I've told you the questions like these can be solved quickly only with practice. Now, when you solve enough questions, you will start asking the same simple questions whenever you see a series. Like, is this connected to the squares of the natural numbers? Are they connected to the cubes of the natural numbers? And these are some standard tests that you should follow. So, what are the questions I'm asking? Are they related to the squares of natural numbers? Well, I can see that they are not related to the squares of natural numbers. They grow too fast to be related to the squares. The second question I ask is it related to the cubes of natural numbers? And again, I see that it's not. Another thing you must ask is whether the series is a straightforward series or an alternate series. And by that I mean that is 12 derived from 5 and 23 from 12, 50 from 23, or the third term comes from the first term, the fifth term comes from the third term and so on. And similarly, second, fourth and sixth are related. So you have to find out whether 1, 2, 3, 4 make a straightforward series or this is some kind of alternate series. And these are the questions that you will ask and learn how to recognize when you solve enough sums. One of the other standard tests that you must follow is to see whether there is any connection between the first difference. And what I mean by first difference is to see what is the difference between the numbers and try to see if there's a pattern underlying these numbers. So let's quickly check if the first difference means anything in this case. So I look at the numbers given to me, it's 5, 12, 23, 50 and 141 and I look at the first difference between the first two numbers and it is 7. The first difference between the next two numbers is 11. The first difference between the next two numbers is 27 and the last difference comes out to be 91. Now, do these numbers form a pattern? Evidently, they do not because 7, 11, 27 and 91 are seemingly unrelated numbers. Now, in such a case, the fail-safe option is to check whether the second difference makes any kind of sense. So, let's quickly look at the second difference. So what that means is to look at the difference of the first difference pattern. So now I try to see if there is a connection between the second difference of this pattern. So I look at the first two numbers and I see that their difference is 4. I look at the second numbers and the difference is 16. And the next set of numbers give me a difference of 64. And voila, there is your connection to the pattern. Now you can see that the second difference is definitely related. And how is it related? Well, you can see that the second term of this pattern is obtained by multiplying the first term into 4. The third term is obtained by multiplying the second term into 4 and therefore you have found a pattern in the second difference of the series. Now to do this, what we must do is first solve the second difference pattern and then solve the first difference pattern and arrive at the number that we want in our original series. So let's quickly recap what is the connection in the second difference. Well, in the second difference what we have is that I'm going to multiply this by 4 and get the next number, multiply this by 4 and get the next number and therefore in this pattern the next number is obtained by multiplying 64 by 4 and therefore the next number is 256. So I have completed the second difference pattern. Now I go to my first difference pattern. Now you can see here that I got 11 when I add 7 and 4. I got 27 when I add 11 and 16. I get 91 when I add 27 and 64 and therefore the next number must be an addition of 91 and 256 and therefore the next number is 347. So I finished my first difference pattern as well, but I am not done because the question is of the original series. So now I finally solved the original series and I see that I got 12 by adding 5 and 7. I get 23 by adding 12 and 11. I get 50 by adding 23 and 27. I get 141 by adding 50 and 91. And therefore, finally, I will get the next term by adding 141 and 347, and that gives me 488, and this is why the answer is 488. So I hope by now you're understanding that there are some standard tests that you must check, like squares, cubes, alternate series, and in this case the first difference and the second difference. I hope you understood the video. Thank you for watching.